Hey y'all, what's going on? What is going on? Let me tell you, for a few different reasons, I am this amped, this pumped up, this excited. I don't know. It really just came like just now, like with the show coming on. I ain't lying, y'all. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I think I was in a little slump of a something earlier. I don't know, a little funk wanted to try to take me over again. What if I said that last couple weeks now? Last week, I know I said that. Well, at least I tried to tell y'all that. Did y'all enjoy my special guest? Because I did. I did, but that's my special guest every day. Okay. So I'm used to her, just tap dancing on my nerves a little bit, but whatever, right? Love her nonetheless. Okay. But that's my baby. So I'm glad that y'all got just a little taste, a little snippet into the life of Benia and Sydney, because Lord have mercy. Y'all, okay, it is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. If you are tuning in, okay, either for the first time or, you caught me some other time before, welcome and welcome back, okay? Thank you for spending some time with me tonight. I love you, okay? We finna get on right on into this thing. Is that all right with y'all? Okay, is that okay? I'm gonna go ahead and just repost this thing up right here like this, like so. Like I like to do. Let me see. What y'all want me to say to y'all? Happy New Year's Eve. Y'all know today is the day that we say New Year's Eve, right? Years. This is the only time that has the S on it. Tomorrow it'll be Happy New Year. Okay? That's B tip of the week. B tip of the year. Amen. That's it. Okay? Don't get on my nerves. Don't get on my nerves. Y'all met my little baby girl last week, okay? Who that's her job, is to get on my nerves. So ain't no room, ain't no space, okay? Ain't no room at the end for y'all to get on my nerves about it. Either who, y'all know what Thursdays at 8 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com is for. The B Mix. Welcome again and welcome back. What y'all think this is for, huh? Y'all, I'm trying to get this together because I really want y'all to say happy 1 year like anniversary, but we're gonna do that in a minute, okay? Because she's trying to make sure she get y'all's attention, amen. And she's been doing just fine, and now all of a sudden she want to pop out, but it's okay. We're gonna work toward that. But first and foremost, before we get there, let me remind you or inform you that the B Mix is for everyone, okay? So you are welcome. This is your safe space, safe haven, open for all raw material, authentic, okay, organic, everything that you feel is okay here, okay? Everything that you think is okay here. And I'm saying that truthfully. It's a large assumption, huge generalization, but I mean that because we need to talk things out. So if you're thinking something that might not be the norm or that is considered, incorrect, or whether if it is politically incorrect or whatever the case may be, I need you to pour it out here. This is the place for you to do that because that's what it's for. It's for the unseen, the unheard, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that just doesn't belong anywhere, the me. So again, welcome. Y'all, before we go any further, because she keep doing what she want to do, and I say she because I have named my hair when I went natural. Oh Lord, what is this? 9 years ago. Oh my goodness. So 2021 is my 10-year natural versary. Okay, come on in 21. But I have named my hair since I went natural in 2011. I named my hair Boss, BAWS, amen, because she rules me, okay? Especially once I went natural. It just all depends on what she says. Can I go out? I gotta check with her, okay? But baby girl, get into this. I really would turn around all the way, but I don't have no pants on again, so I don't feel like lifting up. Y'all might get I don't feel like doing it. But I just want y'all to see. And y'all can go to my personal page and see where I was. I was definitely bald head, small head. Well, not small head, but definitely bald head when I started off. Hi, Nate. Happy New Year. Happy New Year's Eve. Hi. See you in 2021. Okay. It's only up from here. That's it. I know all the cliches, but they matter today. They matter. Before I even get into like what we really getting into for today, y'all, it is the place. It is our right. I was about to say divine right, but let's just go with that. It is our divine right. I almost feel like our divine obligation to share what it is that we have done, what we've gone through, what we plan on doing. Can we please get away from, shunning people for, their New Year's resolutions, and let people, whatever it takes. And if you know or have a strong inclination that they are not going to be any different, even once they set these, New Year's resolutions and all, so what? Mind your business. Okay. With love, I say, mind your business. All right. That's just it. Just leave them alone. Just let it be. I truly believe that 2021 is the year of going forward motion. I just believe that it's the year of forward motion, because if we ain't learned nothing, and I mean nothing else, we have definitely, or I want to say that we should. I know, y'all. We talked about the shouldas. I still suffer with them. Suffer from the shouldas pretty bad. And I'm much better with the shouldas than I've ever been in my life. But I still deal with them. Although should be, as I've said before, removed from our vocabulary. It spikes expectation, which brings on, anxiety and all of that. And I mean, sometimes it really distances us from reality. Like it just does. It just does. And we are not in a place in this day, right? In these times, these unprecedented times, like we are not in a place where we need to be any further from reality than we already are, and or that we already have been operating in. Like, no, we kind of need to be grabbing at reality, right? Because unfortunately, to say, even in a world health crisis, right, in this world, pandemic that we are all still currently experiencing, okay, not to bring a downer on anybody's day, on anybody's New Year's Eve, but we are all still currently in this world pandemic, okay, this world health crisis, okay. So I need you, under the sound of my voice, to keep it safe, keep it cute, keep it safe, okay. Please shut up about all that. I get it. I don't. It's been 9 months now. I get over it. Like, we haven't been able to go out. Okay, I know. I get it. And I know that I'm the person that really enjoys being in the house. I enjoy kind of being by myself. So I've gone through my whole little thing, y'all. I'll get into it in a little bit. But y'all, if it's for safety, it's mind over matter. So in this year alone, if we haven't learned anything else, it should be mind over matter, right? That's it. That's the only way to be able to manifest your destiny. I like that. Just saying, right? Shout out to Me to a T, also known as J. Cherie Creations and T-shirts. Okay, sis is over there painting it up and all. I want y'all to holler at her. Okay, Me to a T. Okay, so what am I talking about? what am I rambling on about? Right, Benia, what you saying? Oh my goodness. Let's get into it, shall we? So in order to, like, the promo for this show, right, in order to say something about today's show, right, I posted a meme that I'm sure a lot of us, if not all of us, have seen. And it said, please brag to me about a thing you did in 2020 that you're proud of. Let me be clear. I'm going to probably say this again, but I want to definitely say it now. Even if all you did was get through this year, I, Benia Sierra Helena Richardson, I am so very proud of you. I love you. I honor you. Okay. I respect you. I acknowledge your presence. I'm so very proud of you just for getting through this year alone. So you've already won a BMix award. Okay. You've already gotten it. Okay. Nate, all the way up. Okay. All the way up. That's it. That's where we're going. Like, I'm extremely proud of you. Yes. Upward and forward. I love that. See? Thank you, Nate. That's it. Upward and forward motion in 2021. Okay, get on this locomotive. Okay, we've been operating as the little engine that could, baby. I don't know about y'all, but I graduated from Thomas, the train, to big old, what's that big black train that we see every once in a while, and big old whatever. Okay, doesn't matter. That's the key right in that. Right, I don't even know the name of it, so I may not exactly know all that I'm finna, bring to y'all in 2021. So not knowing exactly who I am, but I got a good idea of it. Okay. I can describe it. I can give you what it sounds like, looks like, tastes like, smell like. Okay. So I got a good idea of what that thing is. And I got an idea of what I'm fitting to do with it. So that's all that matters. And then I learn that as I go. So as I hop on that engine, okay, and it's moving and we going forward and we making stops and things and doing things, I'm gonna learn, along the way, the exact name of it. Okay, I'm gonna learn more things that it, can do, all the benefits to it and all of that. I'm gonna learn that. So don't worry about that. So if you are still in a place or feel as though you're still in a place where you are unaware of yourself, unaware of what your purpose is, unaware of what in the world you could possibly still be doing, breathing on December 31st, 2020. I was about to say 2020. Listen, okay, baby, it is to continue to learn. Okay, you are to live in order to learn. Okay, and then as it goes on, then it flips somewhere. When you start growing, okay, and rising and new and cracking open and released into new dimensions, okay, higher and higher, then it's learning to live. Okay, but right now you're living to learn, and that's okay, because once you feel like you've learned everything, baby, you're done. And again, like I've said way, way, way back sometime, I feel like I haven't said it in a while, at least on here. I don't know about y'all, but I'd be daggone if I walk around like the living dead. No, thank you. That's not in my cards. I might be figuring out what all is in my cards, but I can tell you what's not. And it ain't that. It ain't walking around like the living dead. That's a no thank you. That's a heavy no thank you. I'm good on it. I don't want to walk around dead. I'm okay though. Okay. And I'm not judging any of you that are. I just want better for all of us. Okay. So when you lose one, that's enough. And I don't want to lose no more. Amen. And then when we lose one, we hoping that we can just reel us back on it. Because I say us, okay? Because at some point, baby, y'all might be trying to reel me back in because your girl be going through, okay? I digress. So I definitely want you to feel free to just let me know something, and I want you to be proud of it. Even if it's like, I might just say this little thing that I might be proud of. I want you to be proud of it. Just put it out there for me. I'll take it from there. Y'all know I'm queen of cheerleading, okay? Not physically, because what wasn't going to happen, y'all wasn't going to keep putting me on the bottom of the pyramid and stuff like that. I want to be at the top. And if I can't be at the top of the pyramid, then I don't want to be in it. Never tried cheerleading because I already knew that I would have to be at the base. Given, if I was smart about it, if I knew my purpose, shout out to yesterday, okay, favorite day of Kwanzaa, Nia, come on now, purpose, don't play. If I was clear about my purpose, okay, all this time, I would have known that it was an honor to be at the bottom of the pyramid if I ever went out for cheerleading, physically, right? Because I always say I'm a cheerleader, but I ain't never really gotten a cheerleader. Moving on. Because I am definitely built to be the good foundational, pillar, the foundational being, the thing that just, I'm an experience. You experience me, and baby, you can go places. I'm just saying. I'm gonna go and fix this bra strap while I'm talking about that though. All right. So y'all, we just us here, okay? Because I felt good. After I took my little 15, 20-minute nap that I almost canceled today's show. Once I took that nap, I felt like putting a bra on and everything for y'all. I'm excited. Okay. It's a good day. You have a crack yourself out? All right. I digress. But yeah, if I was clear about things, I would know that, if I'm at the bottom, it's not because I'm not good enough. It's not because I'm not worthy, to be at the top. It is, and I say this in the most humble way possible, but me being, the foundational, person that I am on the inside of me, I guess spiritually, right? That again, once you experience me, you can, you're supposed to elevate, you're supposed to go places, right? I would never want somebody to, even an ex, someone I've dated, someone that an ex-friend, an ex co-worker, ex-associate, former anything, I don't know, former relative, I don't know, whatever, right? I would never want them to go backwards. I really believe, and I mean, what I've been told is like, or can see that people, they do better once they've experienced me, baby. I'm a part of it. But that's all to the glory of God. That ain't me, right? That's just like, that's my spirit. That's who I am, because it's in me to like be someone to like build you up. I never want to tear people down. Like, that's just not me. So that's me now being able to speak on that, knowing that my purpose again is full of like foundational, a foundational experience. Let's put it that way, right? And so if I was clear about that, I would never take offense that, I have to be at the bottom, because then I am that foundational pillar for someone to step on, right? So we learn that some of these cliches and these colloquialisms, right, and these different terms and forms that we've heard and used so much that we want to see them and use them with a negative connotation, but they don't necessarily have to be. Because if I'm sure before I've said like, oh, people want to step on me, but if I was clear about the purpose within me, I would know that, yeah, that's it. That's okay then. Step on this step here, because that means I'm grounded within my foundation. So my step is firm in order for you to step on. But if I was sinking sand, if I was not, built, in the form of which in order like made for someone to be able to step on to elevate, then we wouldn't go anywhere. So then that, again, saying in the most humble way possible, is that people wouldn't be able to make it to the top for themselves, whatever that top is, that pyramid, whatever that looks like for each individual that is, come across me, that we've crossed paths, that it wouldn't be there without, coming by way of a spiritual, foundational experience like myself. Like, and that's the same way I feel about other people that I've experienced. I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have come to this place without them, right? Without the spirit within them. So it's all, God's chess game, like just in the way he plays it. And that's okay. That's okay with me. Yep, said it, proud of it. It's okay. I am okay to be used by him. Okay. That being said, as you are, letting me know of like what, or bragging, rather, not even letting me know, bragging about, a thing that you did in 2020 that you're proud of. Again, if it is just making it through this year, making it to see today, again, that's okay. But while you're telling me that, I'm also curious to know if going into this year, because there's been a lot of, it's been a lot of a lot, right? So some, there's some good a lot, and there's some not so good a lot. And so the not so good a lot is that there's been a lot of, just talking about just, oh, this year and 2020 was the worst and it took me for a spin. But you didn't know that this time last year. You didn't know that 2020 would be what it was, what it has been for so many of us this time last year. So this time last year, what was your mindset? What were you going into 2020 with? If y'all think back on it, a lot of us, I feel like a majority of us, were going into 2020 claiming it like 2020 about to be it, baby. It's it. Like, this made it. 2019, go and get it. Come on, 2020, right? And I still hold to that, right? Because, prime example, so when I was, and I'm gonna get back to this fitness thing, but when I was training with a trainer, right? And he would have me like just working on like things. He's like, this is the stuff like people do not do. Like they don't work on, this thing here, build this muscle here, or, work on this endurance or work on flexibility here. They kind of jump straight into, and of course, eventually like, weight will come off and things like that and don't try to judge me. I know you're probably looking at my double chin by now, realizing that I didn't fell off, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that, that stuck with me, right? And then so I'm a all around like good person anyway. So like whatever you like have me doing, especially when I feel like it's supposed to work out for my good anyway, I'm gonna just go with it. Like, and I enjoy just doing something. I knew what my issue was once I acknowledged that I just needed an accountability partner. I'm that person that, unfortunately, something I need to work on, but I will care more about like somebody else's time in a sense, right? So my time, I might be like, oof, let me just sit here and just scroll on something, or just sit here, let me take a nap. Like, let me just, which isn't all bad, but sometimes, right? but let it be somebody else's time. So let it be a trainer waiting for me at the track. I'm making sure I'm getting and moving and let me get Sydney, let me get us packed up and get a snack, let me get this and that. Let me just have us all together so that we can get to this track on a regular basis. So for myself, I might have done that here and there, if at all. And that's not the case, right? So when that started to, fall off like our schedules and things like that, and I fell off because I needed that accountability partner. I just needed to feel like somebody is somewhere waiting for me where I know I need to get. Okay. And so all of that to say though, when he was, when we were like, just going at it like, regularly, and building those foundational, tools and these foundational muscles and foundational endurance and this and that, like again, me being me, just already appreciating anyway, but appreciated it even more. So again, something that I've said in the past is that we have to get away from, so I don't know why I just struggled with just saying that I appreciated it more. I think I wanted you all to get the essence of it, but also, a mix of it was not wanting you to feel like I didn't appreciate anything beforehand. So we have to get away from, if I'm going to say that I appreciated it more, it's okay to know that there was some appreciation before, like prior to the level up of appreciation. Let me make sure that's clear. So just to say that I appreciate you more now does not mean I did not appreciate you before just now, right? And if we think about that and we can dissect that later, in the new year, of what that means and where we see that in life, of why we feel like, if I compliment somebody, on one thing, then that means that the other person that's there that I don't like, that we have to get out of that I don't care about that person for that. Like a compliment that means it's exceptional to me, and that's okay. Exceptional means just that, like it's more than, the average. And even if it's average, that means like I at least acknowledge your presence. So if you walk up to, because I got to paint the picture that's in my head when I'm saying that. I'm very visual. So I'm imagining just, me walking up to, 2 or 3 of y'all just gathering together. And just walking up like, oh my gosh, hey, person B, I love your shoes. Everybody else has on shoes. Person A and person C should not, feel like, oh, but you hate my shoes. It doesn't mean that I don't like them. I just haven't acknowledged them, but I'm acknowledging person B's shoes because they're exceptional to me, like to my liking, to my style maybe, or, maybe I'm acknowledging that there's something that I would not wear or whatever the case may be. So where we find that piece, that if we could just fix that alone, I think that would shift us in the right direction. Because back to one of my original points that I was getting at was we have to admit that this year has brought us to a place of, or should have brought us to a place of, we have to do better. We have to move forward. We have to, upward and forward, motion. Like we have to go. There is no turning back, like no turning back, no backwards motion, no nothing. And it's still a fight as much as we may know this, right? Because what my word for this year, going into this year, I said my word was discipline. Discipline. Y'all, listen, baby. I didn't even have any specifics, right? I didn't necessarily say like, I'm going to be more disciplined, when it comes to fitness, or disciplined in ministry, disciplined in business, disciplined in this and that. I just said discipline. And I thought, so this is why I'm curious to know what y'all did, right? What y'all minds were going into this year, because I truthfully, I feel like I thought that I would say, Lord, I thought he would be so proud. Like God would be so proud that here I am, this little child that just can't get right most of the times, right? Trying, good heart, good spirit, always cheerleading for everybody else, but, just can't get right for herself. Child, I'm giving some good advice for you, baby. Woo, for myself. Moving on. Working on that though. Getting better. But I thought he would be proud of me for just being like, hey, Lord, guess what I figured out? Guess what I did? Guess what I'm gonna say? Guess what my word for this year is? It's discipline. And I thought I was gonna toss it up to him. He'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Let me work my magic and, discipline you. Abracadabra. No, he probably, girl. Okay, you want discipline, and let's go and get it. I'm not about to just hand it to you, going to sprinkle it over your life. I want him to do some of this. He didn't. He don't work like that. And I knew that. But for whatever reason, silly old me, I thought that that's just how that was going to happen. No. So I have made some progress with discipline. Like I was saying that I appreciate, before I even go to that, I appreciate when things happen. So I really am the person to appreciate flaws and even insecurities. I really appreciate them. One, because I am all about knowing the inner self. Like there is just something in me that always wants to know, the beneath the surface. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm also the person, there's this balance that I have, because I'm never like gonna pry. Like I'm not gonna ask you like, so what does that really mean? What's that? Like I'm just the person, I listen more, right? That's why I make a really good friend. I make a really good sister. I don't know what I was about to say. I make a really good brother. I don't really make a good brother because I'm not a brother, but y'all get what I'm saying, right on? I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I was about to go down the list. And I was like, that don't apply to me. I can't say I make a really good uncle because I'm not. I make a really good person. Okay. Most of the times. And so I, like I was saying earlier, just can't get right. But I, what was I even saying? I lost it, y'all. I lost it. So excited. My thoughts all over the place. But I know someone disciplined. I was about to move on, but I was making an in-between point. I lost it. It's gone. Hopefully it'll come back. And if it doesn't, maybe in 21. If not, it just, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Got it. So imperfections and flaws and insecurities, that's what gives, like, it's like if we don't want to confess it with our mouths, which is most of us, 98.9% of the times, right? That we just don't want to confess them. Because even myself, open book all the time, but I can't say that I volunteer information. I am the person, though, that is very truthful, very honest. If you ask me, that's where it's like, oh man, I wasn't ready for, okay. I don't know he's going to say all that. Like, I don't know he's about to tell me that. So well, you asked, I don't know. I used to be the person like, are you sure you want to, are you prepared for a possible answer to this? Because I'm still praying that us, especially us, kin folk, that we get out of, feeling like, oh, I've mustered up enough courage to even ask a question. So it has to be yes. No. If you ask a yes or no question, the answer can be either yes or no. So let it be a question that is not, a yes or no question, right? So that way I always explore endless possibilities and options. That is where my brain goes. And so I love it, not love, but I appreciate insecurities and flaws and shortcomings and whatever else you want to call them, because that conveys, to the outside world, like what we will not. And that's okay. You got a little crooked tooth? Okay. You're not finna walk around every day, hey, I got a crooked tooth. Well, that's not going to be your signature on your email. Signed Barbara with the crooked tooth. Like, I get that, right? Shout out to Barbara with the crooked tooth. Just saying. Like insecurities, they just kind of put us out there without our not, like, they have to be. That's how, here I go. That is how, another way of how God, the Bible says, and he promised that, he'll make all things for our good. So even our insecurities, the things that kind of he forces them to come out and to be displayed to the world, because he knows the inside of us. He knows our hearts. Like, he knows our hearts. That speaks to me every time I say it and hear it. Like, for somebody to know my heart, like, I want the world to know that I have such a good heart. It's ridiculous. So, but the only person that truly knows it is exceptional to me, right? And so, by him knowing our heart and knowing what we won't say, what we don't want to admit, what we don't want to kind of put on the forefront, he will, and then use it, to encourage somebody else. Like, there'll be the immature people of, maybe wanting to make fun of, poke at, if we think of like younger ages when we were in school, different things, sure. Bullying, not okay with it at all. But we at least have an idea of how that goes, right? There's somebody that just does not understand whatever the thing that they feel the need to bully us about, then, there it goes. And so I appreciate, like I said, insecurities and shortcomings and downfalls and imperfections, because it's forcing us to, share our inner thoughts, our inner feelings, like that we just are not at a place of doing so on such a regular basis because of all the hurt and the letdowns and, disappointments. I get all of that. I've experienced that in this year alone. So totally get it. Totally get it. But so with the insecurities, like and when I go back to my word for the year of discipline, is that I tried, right? And so I appreciate it because you mix, the concept that I appreciate insecurities, along with, me taking a good jab at discipline, and then it working out for at least me being able to say that I tried. And so it's given me an experience. And for a lot of us, that's what we need. We just need to experience the process that it might take to achieve, said thing, whatever it is we have in mind or whatever we have on our hearts, right? Especially like I was talking about earlier, like for the person on this day, right, on the last day of the year, that you're still trying to figure yourself out and feeling like this year was supposed to be the year that you figured it out because we were all forced, to be inside. And I know I've said something, alluded to something along that nature. And technically, yes, but if figuring out that you all this time, however old you are, all this time you have not known who you are, if at least you finally came to that revelation, that is doing exactly what I've mentioned before, is getting to the nitty gritty of trying to figure out, what it is, just what, why, how, like just starting that process of at least coming to that revelation, like, you know what? I don't even really know who I am. I don't even really know what I want in life. I don't even know. This was the time to figure that out. At the least, that is good. That's good enough. That's okay. So then your forward motion in 2021 is to take that and then start that process. So some people, and everybody's in different parts of that process of figuring out who they are. And that's okay, right? So that way, whatever that is, then you build on that in 21 with your forward motion. No backwards thought, like whatever it is, whatever or at least have an idea that you've been called to do, or that, is meant for you to do, meant to be your contribution to society, to the world, to, our community, right? To us as a people, to the body of Christ, whatever the case may be, wherever you feel the need to make a contribution to something bigger than yourself. It started with you realizing that if you did not know all this time what that was, just to realize that alone, like I ain't never known, right? I've told y'all the story of how I literally since the 4th grade, I just knew that I was going into law and politics. I was so excited about it. Oh my goodness. I was so obnoxious in the rest of elementary school. So that was the 4th grade. So 5th grade, the rest of 4th grade and 5th grade, I was so obnoxious that, I wouldn't answer to anything else beside Madam President, because I would always write and sign on my papers, first Black female president of the United States of America, like obnoxious, would not answer unless they said Madam President, like legit, crazy. But you can't knock me, whatever. No, it's going to be something great, something. Mark my words, something great. Something great. It's a boy Baltimore right here. Something great is coming. I feel like it was a revelation within myself just now, right? And so I knew that. So 4th grade, here we go all the way through, rest of elementary, middle school, high school, 8 years of college, undergrad. Okay. And so here it is, my last the very first day of my very last semester, finally. Okay. On and off into some break. Oh God, just 8 years, right? Let's just feel it. When I say God spoke to me so clearly, you are not going into law. Wait a minute. What do you mean? Because I took up political science, and so I'm about to walk across the stage and receive my degree as being a political scientist. I could go anywhere. I could do basically anything with that. I could go into law school, get my MBA, because I plan to open my own law firm, and I knew I was gonna do it. I had it in mind. then it would not like just no, just no. And so I'm like, well, so what then? And then so it's been that process ever since of figuring out the what. The what instead, rather. The what instead. Ooh, chat. And it's been a great experience. Learning I've learned more about myself in these past few years than I have ever even thought to try to learn about myself. Because I was the person to, tuck myself under somebody else, and as long as I gave myself that blanket, so tucked under somebody else, but then would shine, right, for the both of us, right? So that was everything. If that was in work, that was in the relationships, the friendships, like just tucked myself and still didn't think in during that time that I was one of those people kind of watering myself down or turning my volume down for others, because it wasn't. It wasn't technically. I was turning myself down for myself. I just didn't know that. I didn't know how uncomfortable I was to outwardly be myself. That's why I said even starting the show, right, was the time for me to finally unmute myself. I've muted myself for so long, yet to anyone that has known me for all of my life, I'm a very vocal person, can be very opinionated, right? And still I was muted, okay? Muted. Okay. To so much so that I'm still, coming out of that shell. And that's just what it is. And so the discipline, that word that I, set for this year, I've still seen it come to fruition. Right. So I told y'all, I took a jab at like fitness and I was disciplined, for a while. And so if I had to build the discipline, it's not even toward the end of like me meeting with my trainer that I purchased an elliptical. Baby, I'll be honest, because that's the only way we are here, right, on the B-Mints. I've been on there all of twice. Let's see, I think the first time was like 2 minutes. Second time I was like, I gotta be 2 minutes. It was like 3 minutes, 28 seconds, something like that. Who's counting? No, Benia. No, not good enough. Not good enough. So not disciplined there yet, but I will be. I'll get there. I'll do better. And so, but I have seen, so all of that to say of like when I'm talking about like insecurities and all that, that what it does is that it gives me a sense of reality, right? So when I gave the equation of like, when I said like insecurity plus the word that I said on myself, discipline for the year equal like reality for me, because where it didn't align, where I might not be currently, disciplined, in that particular area, it then gives me like a my own self-reflection, right? Reality check of like, okay, you still need to do that. Like you said you were going to do this and you didn't. Hence why I say we are out of the time of, going backwards. So even staying still is going backwards. I'm going to say this, and I know that anybody that's known me in my past life is going to gag, okay, at the thought of me saying this, but that's just like lateness, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody that does not know me before now, trust me, you have no idea. You have no idea of my struggle with lateness in the past, though. But lateness, just like, we know from Drumline, best movie ever, that, you're only, was it? I don't know, you're only on time if you're early, you're late if you're on time. And if you're late, you never should have came at all, something like that. That's the same thing with this forward motion in 2021, that we are now, this year, 2020 has shown us that just with everything, we think about the social malice, the political system. I mean, just everything that we could possibly think of, right? Our healthcare system, our educational system, every system that we know, at least have heard of, that is against us, that is not for us, that was designed, not with us in mind, right? That it's no longer the time for us to wait on things. And if you're waiting, make sure you're waiting on God. Make sure you're waiting on like direction. But even in your waiting space, that you are still moving forward, right? So like it's not, you got to bump it up a notch. We're no longer in the time of sitting still to listen and wait for somebody to tell us something. You got to train yourself to be able to hear in motion, hear on the move. Okay. 2021 is moving forward. with whatever it is that he's been trying to whisper in your ear about all 2020, and you've been, I don't know, I ain't judging, but maybe smoking and drinking them out, sexing them out, I don't know, whatever, but whatever your vices have been, right, to try to drown out whatever inner voice has been trying to tell you, it's no longer the time now. It's late. It's late. It's late. It's late, but thank God, because of his time, we right on time. Just do not miss it. And this is something I'm telling myself currently. Do not miss it. Do not miss it. Some of us, myself included, some of us have missed God in the past. Okay? Like I have missed him. But the good thing is, baby, he will bang a U-turn, honey. He'll come and get you. Yeah, he will. Okay? Every time. Every time. And so with like my discipline, that I have learned to be more disciplined in my ministry. So that's an area where, discipline has begun at least to grow. So that's another point. Before I had said that, I meant to say that, and say if your word also was or could have been or would have been rather discipline, you would have been able to, the reality check is, in some places, like I said, the fitness that I saw, where I was, and I still don't even count it as all the other times that I said I was getting serious and was going to be, I was going to snatch this thing together and all that. No, like it's still totally different. Right. I did more to commit to it and things like that. Like, we put money to it, baby. That's a commitment. Just saying, usually. No, I'm lying, because when I paid for Planet Fitness at one time, moving on. So the discipline there, but then it shows you in other areas, if you just planted the seed of discipline, which is what I did in ministry and in business. Okay. And I am waiting patiently, but excitedly and in expectancy for the harvest, right? For things to grow from me just planting my discipline seeds within ministry, within business, to come forward as early as 2021. Some of them have come forward now. And so I'll be honest that I would be remiss not to mention my things, my list, that it took me a lot longer than I even thought it would, like, to get down. And I know there's still stuff on here that I probably missed and forgotten. But when I thought back on 2020, right, I turned 30 years old. For our generation, our age bracket, whatever, like that was a big deal. Like 30, I was going to say 20, 30, okay, woo woo, big 3-0, 3 decades, baby, in there, boom, right? Big man, okay, excuse me. And so that was a big deal, right? Turned 30 right before everything went crazy. So I had, I actually had a birthday party and all that. Paid for everybody to have a good time. Had a 90s theme skate party at Shake and Bake. Shout out to West Side, Best Side. I wouldn't be me if I didn't do that. But it was good. It was just good to have. And I remember I tried to talk myself out of having something, as me being that person, love and hate to hear from anybody else to say they're not going to celebrate their birthday or whatever, but finds it pretty difficult to do that. So I will say I'm very excited that I already have in mind what I'm going to do for my birthday in 21, because it's coming up March 8th, baby, International Women's Day. Please don't ever forget it. Again, why I know that I was born with purpose. Y'all, again, about when I used to be very like obnoxious about like Madam President and all that in elementary school, I was also very obnoxious about my birthday. So much so that I now remember, for as long as I can remember, all of my teachers coming into my birthday, like if it was, on a weekday and we came to school, even if it wasn't, whatever that next day was, that, or probably the day before and the day, so the 7th and the 8th, or whatever, that they would write happy birthday beneath. Like every teacher wound up doing that, as long as I can remember, because I was so crazy about my birthday. But yet, like I said, found it difficult, like, to celebrate myself, would push, and I still push everybody to celebrate their own birthdays. But I don't know what that's about, but I'm getting better. And so me being so obnoxious about it, I'm trying to now turn that inward, right? So some things that we wear outwardly, that we need to, channel that energy inward, and then some things inward. So I might be a beast in some particular area. So I might be a beast in love, right? In the area of love on the inside, like my heart would just pound for people. I would just love and love. But say if on the outside I didn't show it, if I'd be like, yeah, like, all right, cool. whatever. And that could be from many things. It's hurt, this and that, or just fear, whatever. I need to channel that on the outside too, so that way that connects for the people that, I do love and that I want to know that I love. Because what we said before, it's okay for the people that you love to know that you love them. Totally okay. You can say it. You can also show it. It does not always have to be monetarily. Just saying. Just saying. One of the many reasons, like I've said before, and I'm telling you, I'll always keep saying, aside from the obvious of so many people, unfortunately, and suddenly, losing their lives during this year, whether it was COVID related or not. Aside from that being, honestly, the only, I say only kind of loosely, because I'm sure there could be something else that I could think of, but the number one reason why, bad thing about COVID, of course, but there was so much good, so much good throughout this time, right? Throughout the shutdown. And one being like for us to get back to, or to get to, because I stopped saying, and I think I peeped that a lot of people have stopped saying, or at least I've stopped seeing, like as far as like on social media, of like people saying trying to get back to was like in the, did anybody pick up on the different waves of like our thought process? Like y'all been processing some things. I won't take that from you. I really should have said that first, right? That, and early on it was, everybody was kind of complaining about it, and it's right. There's still some complaints, but we think about like the level of, right, or the ratio. And so then it moved into like, just trying to get back, can't wait to get back to normal, and this and the third. Then it kind of moved out again. And so, now we're just in a different place of kind of, I guess we're really looking forward to getting out. So I guess we've had 3 trimesters, so maybe it's a birth. And I hope that everybody's birthing something promising, birthing your promise, birthing your purpose, birthing your fulfillment, right? And so it was such the time for all of us to get to, and we've seen so many different ways of how we've gotten to the place of, displaying our care and love and thoughts and sentiments, toward those that we care about, those that we care for, those that we at least respect, right? So I might not, know, the healthcare heroes and all of that, but my respect level for them has gone up tremendously. So some of us might have done certain things to try to show that, or, to appreciate that. The level of appreciation, I feel like, has gone up just across the board. We still have some ways to go in other areas, but we still have to shine the light on the good, right? And so I appreciated that in 2020. But anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. But back to my list. So I turned 30. I even shocked myself with my daughter. So Sydney Adriana, her birthday is April 3rd, my baby. And so her birthday obviously is like right behind mine. Mine is March 8th. A month later, here she is, April 3rd. And so I shocked myself with her birthday party this year. Like I said, we got to, the idea, like, this part I will say got back to, because most of us growing up, we had like the at-home birthday parties. There were definitely like celebrities and, the rich folk, maybe going to the Disneylands and this and the that's. And, we thought it was probably rich if somebody's mother did get them a hotel room in order to have a hotel party at, 6 or something like that in order to get in the pool. Like that is like the norm these days now. And I get it though, like especially for babies that, have birthdays that are not in the warm seasons and season and a half, because it was kind of spring, but I realized all summer. Moving on. Kind of fall now too, the warm times. Okay. And so like that's a norm now, but that wasn't the case. And so most of us really grew up with, at home birthday parties, which was fine. At school, at home. Okay. And so we've gotten away from that. And I was the person that love, still do the idea of like the at school birthday parties. So of course that wouldn't have been an option this year. And anytime she's been in daycare in the past. So, anytime that's been anytime she was in school though, in these past couple of years that she had those, so I couldn't have that either. So, I was crushed, because I might have went back and forth about celebrating my birthday. And even though it was a big one, big number, I knew for sure I was celebrating hers in a huge way. Like it was supposed to be this grandiose princess birthday party, because she's all into princess everything, all into dressing up. She loves the gowns. She has just about all of them and wears them multiple times throughout the day. Just child. And so it was just this big thing. Oh my gosh, I had the venue, it was free. Oh my Lord. It was just everything was falling in line. I had ordered my stuff and just the big deal. And I don't even know why. If I think correctly, it was because she didn't have per se a birthday party for two. Like we went out to dinner. She had the birthday party at school, and then it was more so of an experience. Like I just let her. It was the first time like her just going to a store and she could pick out anything. I think it was all that week, like some days before or her actual day, and after. And we went to all the Five Below, dollar store, stuff like that. But she could just shop and just do stuff, and I loved that. Made me feel so good, and that was just coming out of like a tough time too. So it just made me feel good all around as a parent, right? That I love to spoil, so honestly, but I love to take care of my child. I love for her to feel love, and not just monetarily, but when you can add that or have that place too, it makes you feel good. And I ain't about to explain it no more than that. I don't know why I even felt the need, but yeah. So anyway, so I had this big old birthday party planned, and then COVID, right? And how every story goes, y'all know how like a lot of people. Shout out to my sister that always starts the story off with, "There I was, balls deep." Somebody always has like that handle on how to start a story. I guess all of our stories from now on, like after we really come out of this, it'll either be talking about COVID or it'll be talking about, the China virus. I'll never get over that. Or just talking about 2020 in general. And it'll always say like, and then came COVID, right? So, I was about to do such and such, and then came COVID. But that's what happened, right? And so it's like, how do I freak this? And I did. Like, my family, my immediate family, we've never been the big family. It's crazy because I come from two big families somehow. Lord, two big crazy families. Anyway. And so my immediate family, though, we've never been that until like my oldest brother, he had his children, my nieces and nephews, my babies, my hearts, right? So he has 5 children altogether. And so that was the big part. That was it. And then like my older brother, and then myself, like we started having like our kid, like I had my daughter and then he had his kids, like, okay, just all around the same, like, woof. Then all of a sudden it was like blink of an eye, we kind of a big family. And so of course that was during April, that was when we were in the restriction in Baltimore City of, I think just gathering of 10. And that was exactly us. Like by the time it was boom, 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 like by the time it hit not my oldest brother, because he lives down south, but my older brother and his children and wife, my sister-in-law, my baby girl. It'd be so crazy. I only say like his wife, like to people that might not know, but legit, I always say my sis, but I didn't want y'all to think nothing crazy was going on. We are not from West Virginia. Shout out to anybody in West Virginia that might be cool. That's not married to your cousin. Okay, sorry. But I'm sorry. That was bad. I should say I take that back, but I don't. So, but so all of us, we came over, and I just, since she was turning 3, and it just came to me. I went to the dollar store and just kept picking up stuff. It was her 3 things she was into, and those are the things that we did. We made pizza from scratch. That was my first time really, I think, doing that. I was supposed to have been done that. I think it was like an X or something like that. We just never got around to it. So, some things that was supposed to be with somebody special, you just don't even think about, like you put out of your mind. And so it was, making pizza from scratch. Everybody did that. That was fun. Can you just imagine all these little tiny hands? And mind you, my daughter was turning 3, and then so our twin cousin, so she has an older cousin. So my brother Chuck, is my oldest niece by him was now 8. So then she was 7. So it was a 7-year-old, my daughter Sydney turning 3, her twin cousins who were turning 3 that next month. So they were 2 years old. So we had 2-year-old twins, and then a 1-year-old, the only boy, because it's all of us girls. So all these little hands, all these little people. And so like making pizza, and grandma Popeye, like can't nobody figure out phones. It was a wild, crazy mess up in here, okay? But it was good. It was such good fun. So it's like I said, making pizza. I think we did that. What else was her favorite thing? Oh, got it. I know what her 3 things were. Making the pizza, painting, and making cupcakes from scratch. So we did all 3 of those things, and it was just such a good time. She got pictures taken because she had her dress, and this is the only time I had like her outfit all made. Like it was just amazing. I blew my own mind, to be very honest. I remember somebody I talk to much more regularly now, but way before we were even talking on a regular basis now. But he had said back then, I remember him like comment for whatever reason, I remember this, but he commented on like what I posted about her birthday and was just like, you are like mommying on a million. Like Thank you. Thank you so much because I be trying, okay? I be failing and I be trying, okay? As y'all can see from last week, I be failing, but I do be trying, okay? But yeah, okay. So that's only number 2 on my list. I'm gonna get through it. I got a raise on my job. I started this podcast, right? The B Mix was born in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic. Like I literally that same person, I reached out to him and just shout out to him. And so like I don't know, and just said like I finally like he and his sister had been telling me for a long time, like just you should start a podcast. Like you should just like shutting it off easily because I've always been told all my life that I should get into comedy. I should do. Everybody always said I should do stand-up comedy. No, thank you. I really don't even believe I'm funny. Like because what I think is funny, y'all really probably would not think is funny. Truthfully, like just not the way my brain works. And so no. And I feel like if I ever did stand up, I would stand there on the stage and just look like, hey, what y'all doing up in here? Like y'all paid to see me. I know y'all are. How much? How much is the ticket? Like I'm not gonna say. But so it was easy for me to kind of shut that off too when they were saying like, oh, you should do podcasts. Girl, no, thank you. I'm humble because I sure enough reached out, right out to him. I was like, it's been on God put it on my spirit heavy. Okay. Like, oh, it's time to do podcasts. Okay. Let's reach out to my main man and see what's going on. How do I do that? And I don't know, just sent me an article and we just got to talking and then like conversations. Then one of my sisters like put me through and then here I am on BeExposedRadio.com. So pressed. Like once I finally said yes, gave into the gut feeling that I had and to the move that God was making in my life, everything fell into place. I mean, it wasn't a matter of, I don't know, it was just quick. Like it was crazy. And it just was so smooth. That's what I will always tell people, how it's a God thing, that it will, even though like they tell you not to, I'm not even gonna say it's twofold, but to figure it out. Like they tell you, not to be proud of something that comes so easily or comes without, resistance, that must not be of God. And so there's a difference though, because if it is of God, it'll almost feel like it's falling in your lap. I don't know how else to say it. I'll share with y'all one day, in 2021, of, like the story of like when I got my first car, right? Like that is definitely what I always think of when I think of the idea of like, when I know it's a God thing, it almost feels like it slices like butter and it just falls into your lap. And so that's what happened here once I finally figured that out. So the B Mix came out of 2020. So because of that, and because I was starting that up, like before while I was working in the works of like getting things started here on Be Exposed, I got my logo and cover design and all that, which I might switch that up because I've been looking at my cover design, but like just things like I never talked to a graphic designer before for something for myself, and like that had never. A lot of my first actually came out of 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, right? Speaking of first, I formed my first LLC. Crown Consultant LLC was birthed in 2020. And I am, currently working my first contract that I have under my business. Like crazy. Like, Benia, what? Not doing stuff. Not starting your business and doing stuff. Like somebody believe in your vision and they want to work with you. Wow, right? Y'all, I wrote a children's book on grief. Like wrote it. It's done. It is done. And I'm only waiting, like I haven't published it yet, right? Waiting to do that because I'm going to be copywriting that. But I kind of want to copyright all the books that I want to copyright. I actually kind of want to do that all at once, but I'll figure that out. Y'all pray for me. But like for the children's book, I had illustrations. So that was the first time me speaking to, an artist or, for designs as far as like illustrations for a book that's not like crazy stuff, like just having to be a creative, like, wow, Benia, right? Like, God, you really thought this through with me, huh? Like you just wanted to work through me. Okay. So got those done. So like I said, that book is sitting and waiting. And I really need to needs to come out. It needs to come forward. But so much so that God used that to like light the fire under me, right? For the fact that I have absolutely sat on. This is why I say forward motion in 21. Because even when I said like about the time, like being on time and even being on time is late. So sitting still is not forward motion. That's common sense. But even if we really have to think about it, because we'll think like, oh, well, I'm just waiting. I did some stuff and I'm sitting and waiting. No, stop sitting on things. Keep walking. Keep walking. Okay. If you don't feel like running no more, walk, keep moving. That is like one of the best pieces of it. The same person, swear, he's been such a great person in my life. Now I think about it for real. Because I remember like a conversation we had, and he was like, when we were talking about business owner, he was like, the best thing I can tell you to do is to make sure you keep going. Like, especially when you get to a place of receiving certain words and certain things from people. And once I received that, like it just set heavy on my spirit. Like, yeah, that's it. That's right. Let me just keep going. Like the days, like given, remember I was telling y'all that, so not last week, that was Christmas Eve, but before then, the week before Christmas Eve, like I just couldn't pull it together. And so of course that was a good thing for me to rest. But it was about me getting back to it. Cause I told you I almost canceled last week. I just almost didn't like, and that's what'll happen. Like you'll build that habit. So things that you'll, tell yourself you don't want to do, don't feel like doing, you're building a habit. You know how they say like when you're in a relationship and you are like the person that's not present. So I'm not gonna say male or female, but apparently there's females out here that be just as trifling as the niggas we be talking about. Moving on. But y'all, for real, my head is just not trying to let me be great right now. But they say that, if you're doing all of that, you're teaching the person how to live without you. And maybe if we bring her over here, maybe she want to be on this side. I told you that's why I named my hair Boss. Like, we are just falling. Okay, we're going to switch sides on y'all today. Surprise. I feel like I tossed my tassel. I graduate. And okay, but when they say that, what was I saying? Here I go. That's what I get. See my hair? They messed me up. They messed me up in my train of thought. All that to say that I took a break and took a rest, but getting back to it. So when they say of like, oh, that's what I was saying. So like if you are that person that, chooses not to be present for whatever reason, you might be working, cheating, or just selfish, whatever the case may be, right? You're teaching that person how to live without you. And so you're doing the same thing when you decide it's a slippery slope of taking a break and getting some rest, right? Just from, everyday hustle and bustle. But it's a slippery slope because then it could turn into, that thing that you decide to be like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna get back to it. I don't know. Right. So you have to guard yourself. When you take that rest, it has to be intentional. It has to be, oh, Donna, I love you too. That's my big bro, y'all. It has to be intentional. So even your rest has to be intentional. Going into it, literally, if it's physically lying down for a nap in like a crazy day, and a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, especially for those even working from home, we also deserve breaks too, right? So if it is physically laying down for a nap, make sure before that head hits the pillow that you tell yourself like, okay, I'm laying down, because I'm going to get up and do that, not beating yourself up. There's a difference. Like, not like, oh, I can do this, that, and the third, but it's okay, I'm gonna take this nap because then I'm gonna get back to it, this and the third. So like I said, that's a piece of advice that person told me was, to keep going. And so that's why I'm still here. So I'm happy that I did not, I was almost at a moment earlier where I thought I was going to be going back and forth, not back and forth, but telling my producer like, I don't know about this week, right? But I kept pushing and I feel amazing about it. I had to actually, when I self-reflected, I reminded myself that I would feel amazing after I did the show again, because I've had some time even before recently. I've had a few times beforehand, early on and in the middle of, I've had it. Like I've had times where I just, a show everywhere. Yes, it comes, it happens. The thing that you feel good about, the thing that you enjoy doing still sometimes can feel like, ugh, right? And so, like I said, so that book, that children's book on grief that I wrote and have the illustrations and all that for, that's just sitting. I'm not going to let it sit too long. It put the fire under me to finish, or to get back to my autobio, right? And I've even gotten, see, it's crazy now even to say that word, because that phrase I've struggled with saying. Usually I'll be like my autobio or my book of memoirs, which I'm still, on the fence on, but I would rather choose which one to call it based off of what it actually is, not versus, not, my fear, right? My fear of feeling like, who do I think I am to write an autobiography, which is plenty in there, plenty. And I'll be honest, so I have not finished it. My goal really was to definitely have had it finished by today. But that's a part of my forward motion in 21. That's just it. Like, there's no excuse. There's no question. It will not sit, in any longer than it really needs to. But I got back to it. I got so much of it done. The two chapters of it that were the hardest for me to, just therapeutic, to release and all, like, it was so hard for me to get those out. And once I got past those and then just getting others done, it's only up from here. It is only up from here, right? Upward and forward motion. So I'm so close to finishing my autobio and its sequel, right? Because I already have it in mind that I know as I've just been trying to get through the full rough draft. I don't want to stop until I get through the full rough draft of my autobio. And then as I go through to, to edit myself before I, send it to any other editor, that as I go to edit it, it's going to help me. It's like the blueprint for the sequel for me to talk about it. It'll make a lot more sense when it comes out, y'all. I promise. Like, when I talk about it more and when it's closer to being birthed, I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. Just to say it here, this is my accountability piece right here to even mention it. Then there's a third book of encouragement that's coming right behind it. So I've started on each. So I've been working on the three of them, right? Simultaneously. I have written 5 inspirational pieces in all of this time, like in these past 9 months, y'all. Like, I'm ready to be birthed. Like, I'm finna break the water, okay? Because my 5 inspirational pieces are just so good. I'm not even gonna drop the names or anything right now. I thought I was, but I'm gonna get there, right? Because I won't call them poems. I call them pieces, but they are definitely for us. And what I've said before, that I encourage anybody that has said they're going to write, thinking about writing, because it is for us to read about us in order to encourage us, to push us to move forward motion. Okay. I can't stress that enough. And so these 5 pieces, I plan to get those copyrighted, pretty soon. And then, while I'm still finishing up the books, then get all of those copyrighted at the same time. Y'all, I have I have 2 trademark applications in the process. Like, I've been working and investing in myself and in my businesses, just like, for real. Speaking of investments, I forgot to even put that on my list, but like, I've talked to and invested, like, y'all, listen, my assistant working. Okay. And so 2 of my trademarks is like it. The 2 of them, one of them includes a brand new, a new brand that came out of what I was trying to do, but it was like even larger. So, in 2020, I had met some of the people that, again, being put through to the producer here for Big Exposed Radio, for the B-Mix, for my business attorney, shout out to Nina Spear. I've met even more recently, who I really believe is like a friend, not I believe, like, who is a friend, like a new friend, right? I met her, and that was from signing up for a new life insurance policy, but amazing. Like, it's just, be open-minded, y'all. Like, that's what I'm saying. I ain't saying, answer, y'all bill collectors is calling all that. I'm not saying y'all gotta be friends with all of them, because that's not who she was, but it just, God really works in mysterious ways. And that we both knew, like, this is a friendship, like, coming out of this. Like, just, I'll get into it later. We'll probably talk about, like, new friends, because we're going to redefine that. So I think even I was the person kind of stuck in, like, no new friends kind of things. I had quite a few friends for so long. And now that some of them are out of my life and have cleared the space for new people in my life that deserve to be in the new space and places that I'm going, it kind of blows my mind. I've been working on my credit, right? Like just doing like personal things too, as well as, professional and like business ventures and things. I've been blessed to be able to like still continue to pay my bills during this whole pandemic. Like I've been blessed. Okay. But all of that, right? So those are quite a few things. Like I said, some things I've left off the list, I'm sure, but most fulfilling throughout this entire time, throughout 2020, is that I've never missed a beat in Miamiville. Never. More so now, and it's like it's more so now than ever that I've been able to. But I was always that person, like trying to make sure that I am her I want you guys like I'm her everything, and I'm happy to be that. Uh, Not gone, girl. Thank you, Doc. But I've never missed a beat in Mommyville. I've been able to witness her growth and development more closely, right? Like more close and personal. Just things I can pick up on, like that I've been able to do. But again, it doesn't mean I wasn't before. This just means that I've been able to do it more, right? So remember, it's getting away from feeling like just because I'm, acknowledging that I've been able to do something more in a certain particular time, that it doesn't mean I wasn't doing it at all. We have to get that in our minds as a community, as a people. That is so important. But then again, with like fulfilling, right, on my list of things that I've been doing, all of the things that I've listed before. So still working, still, just taking care of things and venturing into business endeavors and all, mommying to the nth degree. But in 2020, I began training and serving in ministry. That alongside with mommying, most fulfilling of 2020, right? I actually, so much so that I brought forth like my first like spiritual vitamin. Was my church. We it's shout out to Inner Court Ministries. We have, and like on social media and all, and on Facebook and YouTube, have like spiritual vitamins on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon, a noonday nugget, and then there's like noonday prayer. Afterward, anybody can call into just for some encouragement. And so my prayer ministry had already been like growing and increasing in this time. And then like I've been, just pulled into just different things and just like massage through, and just like your walk, it just comes naturally of like, okay, this opportunity comes, this, and so much. So now that I've grown so much, and now when I was asked to do that, it wasn't a small thing to me, like huge to me. And then now that on the 8th, right? So going into 21, so forward motion, right? Things will grow. Forward motion means, forward motion up, forward motion, motion forward, whatever the case may be, that I've been asked to bring forth, a word alongside with quite a few other youth, like during what we call a prepared table. It's a 30-minute segment. So each of us have just a few moments. But to be asked to do, like, I'm so honored. I'm so humbled. Like, I'm so excited. Like, so I have, like I was saying before, like discipline in ministry. So I read into my word more. I definitely pray more and pray more abundantly. I don't know how to, like, more with more content, with more like focus. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I have my selfish prayer, of course, of trying to just work on self. But then there's, just more, right? So when I see, on social media, I've always been this person. So I think what it is now is that it's like more official, or I don't know, more consistent, probably. That's probably what it is for me, that I've always kind of been the person of like, when I hear somebody say like, oh, I hope somebody pray for me or something, or see something on social media, like, y'all pray for my family. Even if I don't like it, if I don't respond to it, I'm already like, Lord, I just go straight to God and pray about it, right? But more officially or more consistently, have I been doing that. So I'm so grateful. Like, God has really, really been using me. And so all I can say is that out of all of it, it's why I told you before that whatever it is that you are proud of that you've done in 2020, even if it is just getting through the year, I'm so proud of you, because out of all of that list of, things that I've told you and share it with you, out of all of it, I remain humble, but I've remained faithful. And that is what I'm most proud of myself. I've remained faithful, that I've always been faithful, but out of everything this year, I've remained faithful, right? And I still am. Like, I'm still faithful to God. Like, I refuse not to be. And so much so that I allow myself, let myself off the hook when I try to beat myself up about things, as far as, like when we were talking about rest before. Rest is still productive. I want you to know that. Rest is still productive. And that's just that. And that's period, first of all, right? And that, you work on yourself more and more to get to the place where you trust God, even when the answer is wait. So you rest, and it might be, like I'm gonna rest and I'm gonna get back to praying to God. I'm gonna get back to, asking him and seeking him or this or that, or getting back to doing what I need to be doing and all that. But if the answer is wait, that's still okay. Whatever answer you receive from God is a good one. It's a God one, so it's a good one. He won. Sorry. But it doesn't mean you lost. Hi, see what I did there? Just because God is winning does not mean that you lost. As long as you believe and trust in him, you're winning as well. Promise, right? So trust him so much so that if the answer is wait, you trust in that too. And you wait. I am waiting. There are some things in my life. So other things may be moving. There are other areas in my life where I'm in a waiting space. So that's where you get that tug of war of like, okay, I'm tired here, but I'm excited here, tired here, I'm anxious here. And that's why you realign yourself, bring yourself right back in the middle to just stand and wait and align yourself and be in position to receive what he says to do, what he says to seek, what he says to listen out for, whatever, right? The whole thing about it is that he will release the harvest when he sees your obedience. That is when I knew I was doing something right. My obedience. So here I was, my word for 2020 was discipline. But out of it, come on, Lord. Is he talking to me right now? Out of it, I received obedience. Like I learned to be obedient. That is the discipline. So we go into something thinking like, I'm doing this right. This is the right thing. Remember I said in the beginning, like, I figured I was going to throw out the word like, oh, Lord, I want to be disciplined. Oh, you're going to be proud of me when I tell you I want to do this. Like, it's like coming to our parents and like, Mama, I don't want shoes for Christmas. I want to be able to, I don't know, give shoes to the homeless. And your parents are like, that's great, but did you think that through? Like, what'd you say, Rue? Like, how you gonna do that, Pooh? Like, okay, right? And it doesn't mean they're talking you out of it. It doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but so it's the same thing when I thought I was going to toss up the idea of, okay, discipline is my word for the year, Lord. Come on now, not knowing anything about Sister COVID, okay? Okay, Mother Corona came on up in there and stomped on through, tips, real good and easy. All up and through the sanctuary, okay? Not literally. I don't mean that the sanctuary has COVID. I meant, y'all know what I meant. I hope y'all know what I mean. Like, it just, figuratively speaking, is what I meant by it. But, so it's like, I thought that discipline was like, oh, he gonna love this. He gonna bless me for real. He gonna bless me real good because I'm asking for discipline. No. Chill down, young grasshopper. Chill down. But out of all of it, I have learned to be more obedient. And I still slip and fall. Still slip. I ain't even really getting into what I wanted to tell you about. I'll probably get into it next week. And I said probably. So, because there might be updates on that. I don't know yet. But, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So out of me seeking discipline for this year, I walk away with, being more obedient. And like I said, that he releases the harvest. And we know what harvest means, that you only put in a little seed, just a little taste, a little something. Gave him my faithfulness, said I would be faithful to him throughout it all. Never questioned that part, right? And then I came out of it with being more obedient. And so that, and, some people and not being in the level, if I wasn't in a level of, belief that I'm in, then I would think like, I'm walking away with obedience. That's it. Right. I gave you a seed, faithfulness. Okay, you gave me obedience. Not knowing that's the golden ticket. Like, baby girl, like he will give the harvest to your obedience, when he sees your obedience. So meaning that when he sees that you obey him, because we have to, again, forward motion is knowing that you got to obey somebody. Obey. Women say obey. Obey, okay? Not just the seasoning. Amen. Like, come on now. You got to obey a higher power. So if anybody out there struggling to believe in God, listen, baby girl, baby boy, it's got to happen. You have to believe in something. It is not just you existing on this earth because of you. To God be all the glory. Just saying. Like, just Just want to throw it out there to make sure that you're aware going into 21. You are not going into 2021 because you just stayed in the house and washed your hands. You didn't. Some of those people also lost their lives as well, unfortunately. So I just need you to know it wasn't just you, why you've made it to December 31st, 2020. And on the horizon of 21, it will only be because of him that you see 2021. Because things can still happen. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's the reality, right? And so, again, giving him just my little bit, giving him faithfulness. It was just a little seed, okay? And he gave me the ticket in order to redeem it, in order to receive my harvest. So what all that's coming. I've been working on stuff, but if I was to stop believing him, stop being faithful, and to turn around and just make horrible mistakes and go backwards or stand still in places where he needs me to move forward, I could lose all of that. All those seeds that I've planted, different businesses and endeavors, and I could lose all of that. And it would be all in vain and all for none. Who wants to do that? That has been work, okay? I have definitely learned to appreciate entrepreneurs even the more in this season. Shout out to all my entrepreneurs, especially the minority owned, especially the women owned, okay? But in entrepreneurs overall, my respect level is like through the roof, like just the process of which, and I've always worked in like programming, right? So like in operations kind of way, like I've always been that person, right? And that's always been for somebody else's mission and business and organization and, in an industry that, or different industries really, but that's always been for somebody else's mission basically. And so for me to now do it for my own, it's almost easier to do it for somebody else's mission. Like, okay, if somebody else laying there somewhere that figure something out or not, but at least I'm doing my piece. And that seems like it's a big deal. It's the world. But when it's all me all the time, everything, I got to look to the Lord. Like, Lord, listen now, Jesus, now you have to do something because I ain't got this. Okay. You got me? Okay, then I got it then. All right. Appreciate you. Okay. And that's all he's asked for. I'm looking at some comments. So Sean said, my 2021 has already started with healing. I believe we can't find self without healing. I wasn't healed and hurt from not healing. And I hurt someone I cared and still care about. Let's see. There's more to that. And so shout out to Sean, because that's really what it's all about. Like what matters. There we go. That's what I was looking for, the word matters. That's what matters, is working on self so much that you're able to acknowledge where you were, where you are now, what in the process of just that alone of where you were and where you are now, what you've done that could have, hurt, could have, caused hurt, or could have caused pain rather. Like that's just the point of it. And the fact that you're able to acknowledge that, you care about this person or cared about this person and, possibly still care about them. Kudos to you for that too. Like that's a part of the healing process. And anybody that knows or has experienced any type of healing, right? Or at least acknowledge that we know this is an ongoing process. So anyone that truly is working on self to heal is never truly healed. So it will never say I'm healed, right? If that makes sense. Like, especially when we're talking matters of the heart and things like that, like, oh, I'm healed. Like, no, I'm healing. It's a healing process, right? So even a wound, I feel like somewhere in there is never truly like closed up. Like it might look better. It might close up on the surface, but beneath the surface. So the healing process is such a serious thing, and it's imperative, to our people, to our culture, to our community, and to hear, even if one of us is, has embarked on that process, on that journey, is good to hear. So I love to hear somebody say like, I started trying to heal, man, like, because technically that's really what we're all out here trying to do anyway. What it really has been is that some of us have either chosen, some of the wrong things to try to heal us, right? So that's where we turn to those vices. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the vices, the smoking, the drinking, the sex, and all that, it kind of that yields us away from the true healing that we need to do. But it's because we're coping, right? So we say this is my coping mechanism. This is, what I do to cope, but that's not allowing you to heal, right? Or to embark on the healing journey. And so, like I said, it feels so good to hear of even just one of us of, embracing that process, because that is just what it is, a process. And so, and what I've said before to you guys is that when we recognize, some of us have, and either we shied away from proceeding with the healing process, or, kudos to the people, to us that have, pressed through it. But we know that pain hurts, right? So trauma hurts. But then when we come to, we get to that healing door and it'll be like, oh, this hurt. Ouch. Owie, right? The healing also hurts. Like, healing also hurts. So then it's your choice. That'll really separate the real from the non, and be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Because then there's like I'm gonna just heal just enough. I'm gonna do just enough. I'm gonna say I'm meditating, right? But I ain't really getting up. Like, it puts me to sleep. I'm saying really, it's really like meditation. Then there's rest, right? Then there's prayer. Like, there are different buckets, and for a reason. Are you really getting something out of the different things that you say that you're doing in order to help you to heal? If you're not, or if you feel like you are, but you you can tell if you're even answering and being like, yeah, like you can tell, like, well, wait, am I? And if you can't get in tune with yourself, even the most confident person should still be questioning and just double checking to make sure that they are doing everything that they possibly can to, heal, if you call yourself healing. So again, shout out to Sean for embarking on that healing journey. I love, love, love to hear it. So much so that, so back to when we're talking about obedience, right? And along with that God still uses trouble for our good. We know that. We keep hearing it. We keep hearing it in different ways. But he does. He does. I'll share this briefly, is that I've told y'all before that I don't know why I keep stuttering, but that I this year also, like I got very serious and have been very serious for with remaining, like, abstaining. There we go. I was trying to put it into form, and Lord, I was struggling of abstaining, and I have been. And so I found myself more recently of like being like tested by that, right? Like, I'll be like, my hormones have been like on a million, just like people weren't attracted to me all this time. I was like, right, but that's it. That's all it's been. But still, that's still like, okay, now that could be slippery slope, so chill out, right? And so he uses it for our good, because I really believe that with it being such a challenge right now and going into the new year, because you don't want to slip up going into no new year, but I was like, maybe that's going to be God. Not saying that I'll allow myself to slip up, but whatever. So the test of it, I was like, that's going to be a part of whatever story my story is going to be. So hopefully in 21, it's going to be, come to tell y'all like, boom, Mary, y'all remember when I was saying I was struggling with my hormones, and, I'm still, making sure I'm abstaining, like, woo, child, right? And then it's like, oh, Mary. So look, I, stay fast, like, just, whoo, right? I'm gonna report back, y'all. I promise. But in all of that, he uses it for our good, because I'm so in a place now that I can just see that, instead of questioning like, how's he going to use this? Because I thank God for his cycle. He created us to breathe, not just to breathe in, but to breathe out as well, right? Life is intended to be give and take, receive and release. So you're able to thank him, and we are all able to thank him for what he puts in our life, just as much as we're able to thank him for what he takes out of our lives, right? There's some good in it all, because he promised us that he would use what was intended for our downfall to be for our good. You can bank on his promises, the only word that'll never fold. I'm believing that 2021 is the year of forward motion. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support, participating in this platform with me, because it is really for us. I love you. I acknowledge you. I honor you. I respect you. I'll see you in 2021. Peace.